Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for November 14, 2023, two children, their mothers among 5 killed in Westmoreland crash. Two children and their mothers were among 5 people killed in a crash on the Bluefields main road in Westmoreland on Monday afternoon. The identities of the deceased were not confirmed by late evening. However, Senior Superintendent Wynne Josephs, head of the Westmoreland Police Division, informed the news that a mother and her teenage daughter, along with another woman and her son, were among the victims. SSP Josephs stated that the crash involved a gray Toyota Noah taxi and a truck. Firefighters and emergency personnel worked frantically to remove the occupants of the public passenger vehicle. As they labored, traffic piled up in the area, and the videos of the carnage began circulating on social media. According to police reports, the taxi with 6 people on board was traveling towards the White House when the vehicle it was in front of slowed down. The cab driver swerved, collided with a truck traveling in the opposite direction, and ended up in a tree. 5 persons are now dead, 4 females and a male. 3 persons died on the scene, and the 2 were rushed to the hospital and succumbed, SSP Josephs said. The driver, I understand, fled the scene, SSP Josephs said, before appealing to him to turn himself in. However, community members say the cab driver was among the persons taken for medical help. SSP Josephs urged those transporting the commuting public to slow down. I just want to take this opportunity to ask drivers of public passenger vehicles to remember that it is not only their lives alone that they have in their hands. They also have the lives of the passengers, so they need to take that into consideration when driving on the road and observe the speed limit, he appealed. Especially when the road is wet, you have to be extra careful. I am also appealing to people on a whole, to road users. When it comes down to this time of the year, you have a lot of people celebrating. So there is madness on the street. Drive with your seatbelt, he cautioned. He also had a message for another group of road users. I am also appealing to motorcyclists to wear helmets because a lot of our accidents in Westmoreland involve a motorcyclist, he stressed. Search is still on for missing woman from Capsized the boat in St. Mary. Members of the security forces are still engaged in a search and rescue operation to locate a woman who has been missing since a boat in which she was traveling capsized off the coast of Robins Bay in St. Mary on Saturday. The search is still ongoing. A representative of the Corporate Communications Unit, the information arm of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, told the news. 6 people, including the boat owner, were rescued on Saturday following the maritime mishap. However, an unidentified female has remained missing since the incident. Reports suggest that sometime after 12 p.m. on Saturday, a group of persons believed to be part of an excursion from the corporate area decided to indulge in a boat ride near strawberry fields in Robins Bay. The vessel later capsized as the weather conditions deteriorated. Over the weekend, severe weather conditions hampered the efforts of the security forces to locate the woman. Typically, the Jamaica Defense Force deploys aircraft and patrol vessels from the Jamaica Defense Force Air Wing and the Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guard to assist in operations. More cyber attacks in Jamaica than reported, says expert. Cybersecurity consultant Gavin Dennis has revealed that there are more cyber attacks than have been publicly disclosed in Jamaica. Mr. Dennis made the disclosure Monday morning during an interview with the news in regards to frequent local data breaches. It was disclosed on the weekend that e-commerce platform shopcourt.com and PriceSmart have suffered data breaches. Mr. Dennis said breaches are considered serious.
At least every week there's some other entity that's being compromised. Sometimes those reports make it into the media, sometimes it's something private, but at least every week there's another company that's getting hit, and companies or people like me are asked to help out in some of these instances. Cybercrime is something that does pay. It's very lucrative for a lot of criminals. It's also less physical risk There's also a significant lower risk of them being caught and going to prison, or them, facing physical harm because they're in an altercation with the police out on the street. So cybercrime allows them to stay safely tucked away, with less risk to their life and with a higher probability of making money. So a lot of times when these companies get hacked, especially in cases of what's called ransomware, which is malware that encrypts, the files of a company and then asks for money for the files to be released.
Health Minister urged to appoint a new pharmacy council. Opposition spokesperson on health Dr. Maurice Guy is calling for Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton to immediately appoint a new pharmacy council, as the country has been without one for several months. Dr. Guy says the final written assessments of new pharmacists were completed in September, but the process of registration to practice pharmacy in Jamaica can only be done with a council in place. He says the situation is unfortunate, as there is a shortage of pharmacists in both the public and the private sectors. According to Dr. Guy, graduates are awaiting completion of a simple administrative procedure to practice in Jamaica.
It brings into sharp focus 2 years ago when the Medical Council of Jamaica and the minister was derelict in appointing the council, and we had doctors who had graduated and were not able to be registered. A similar situation is occurring here, and we are calling on the minister to expeditiously appoint this council, the board for the council, because as was demonstrated by a recent article in one of the dailies, there is a severe shortage of pharmacists in the country. We have young people who have graduated, who have student loans to repay, who have their own expenses to deal with, and having sat the examination are waiting on the council to grant them their license. Why the delay?
Death stalks a St. Catherine family. As she held on to a bicycle for support, just the footsteps away from where her brother Cedric Crooks was killed along with her brother-in-law, Richard Manley, 47, on Saturday night, Doreen Palmer says she is convinced that her family is marked for death. Her eyes welled up with tears as she outlined a list of family members who have died violently over the years. Right now, my strengthless because it's just too much on we. A beer gunshot with family dead by. It's 10 of us as siblings, and at least 4 of them dead already. This is just too much, the Hamilton Gardens Portmore St. Catherine resident said. Palmer said that the angel of death started stalking her family in 1998 when her brother, Oral Crooks, was murdered. This was followed by Cecil Murray, Cedric's father, who was killed at the exact location as his son in 2006. 2 years later, the family was plunged into mourning again when Wayne Crooks, another of her siblings, was shot and killed. As the family tried to pick up the pieces to their lives, Adrian Crooks, another of Palmer's brother, was murdered in 2018. Their deaths were followed by her nephew, Janoy Crooks, who was gunned down earlier this year. The tears trickled down her face as she watched other family members throw shovels of dirt on the bloodstain of her relatives. Cedric, a pig farmer, was said to be in a jubilant mood just hours before and even rang in his 46th birthday on Friday at the same bar that he met his demise. According to police reports, about 8:30 p.m., Crooks, Manley, and another man were patrons at a bar when they were approached by one man on foot who opened fire at them. The 3 men were rushed to the Spanish Town Hospital, where Crooks and Manley were pronounced dead and the other patron admitted. The police are yet to provide a motive for Saturday's brutal slaying. Palmer described her 46-year-old brother as a hard worker and one known to be a peacemaker. Cedric was a good, nice, loving person, and him wasn't a man of war. Him raise him pig them and take care of him children. He was the most peaceful man in the community, and he's the one who will make everything smooth. His family own the bar, so it's natural for him to be out by the bar and drink him special and them little thing there. All know me can't believe, she said. Palmer said that she was at work when she got the call, and all she could do was scream. All of this hard body now. Me never dey home, but me hear say a lot of shot fire. My poor brother-in-law Richard was a good person too. Him no give trouble. Him just do a little work and go home, she said. Woman says she suffered a miscarriage after hit and run. A Bull Bay St. Andrew woman says she suffered a miscarriage after being hit by a truck in her community on November 4. The woman, 32, said that the incident occurred about 7 p.m. on the night in question while she attempted to cross the roadway. I am in pain. It has been 3 days now and I've been vomiting blood. Since last night, I noticed that when I pass urine, I pass blood, the woman told the news. The police confirmed that a report has been made at the Bull Bay police station and officers there are treating it as a traffic incident that is currently under investigation. The truck that was reportedly involved in the incident cannot be found. Recounting the incident, the woman told the news that the truck hit her from back. The Bull Bay Main Road is being upgraded under the Southern Coastal Improvement Project. The area has been the scene of chaos due to poor signage on the thoroughfare that has been expanded to a 4-lane highway. I was wearing black tights and a yellow top, and I was going across the road. They are working on the road, so there's a lot of traffic, and nobody was able to clear the traffic. An ambulance was coming across, then the ambulance driver stopped and allowed me to cross. And as he was driving out, a truck hit me, the woman said. She said that she was assisted to the hospital, where she was assessed and sent home. I was seen by a doctor and I told her I was having a miscarriage. She told me that she did a pregnancy test, and it's negative. She said if I'm certain the truck hit me, if I did see when the truck hit me, the woman said. The woman insisted that she had done a pregnancy test using a home kit before the incident. She said it shows that she was pregnant and estimates that she was 3 weeks along. The 32-year-old woman said that she is worried about her health as she has been experiencing excruciating pain, shortness of breath, and bleeding since the incident.